Welcome to the Rugby League Outsiders Prediction video. This is the only prediction video on the internet that counts, in our opinion. My name's Craig.
And my name's Karl. Hull KR got one hand on the League Leaders Shield, beating Wigan at the Battle of the Brick. This week's round 23.
Right, Karl, let's get into this week's game then. Kicks off on Thursday night. We've got Leeds Rhinos taking on Hull KR. Kicks off at 8 o'clock. Not sure which channel it's going to be on, if it's actually going to be on Sky Sports proper or not. At this moment in time, both these teams, 4 from the last 6, have both got lots of momentum going into this game. And obviously Leeds beat Hull KR 6 weeks ago. So
8 points to 14, wasn't it, earlier on in July. Game of the round, this for me, I think.
There was a couple of great games this week, but this is definitely the one to watch. So it's at Headingley. It's Leeds are playing incredibly well right now, but it's Hull KR. And they I mean, I don't want to say they took Wigan apart. They beat Wigan, but they were in control, weren't they?
They were in control. I took one thing away from the Battle of the Brick, and it was that Hull KR might not win the grand final. And I know I might be a little bit controversial saying that. It was a great win. It was a really exciting game. However, Wigan were pretty terrible, if you ask me. They made, 12 or 14 errors in that game. If you're playing a Wigan side that's making 12 or 14 errors, they've got some of the star men on the bench, and you only just get it over the line. I'm not convinced that Hull KR are now going to win the title. I know there's loads of people jumping on the comments straight away with that. They played well, did Hull KR. They played some. It was a scrappy game, wasn't it? It was an exciting game to watch, but they weren't at their best, I don't think.
No, they were. I mean, you talk about Wigan. Wigan just didn't. I think they had a terrible completion rate. I think other than that, there was relatively well matched. I think they had very, very similar completion rate, very similar possession. You look at like some of the key stats like meters made and and all that kind of thing. Then there's just, there weren't a lot in it. So yeah, you're right. If you think Hull KR may not win the grand final, then you've got to say that Leeds is potentially in the running, and therefore this is a massive game.
This is a massive game. I think Leeds can win this game, especially with how Leeds have been playing over recent weeks. Their performance at the weekend, they absolutely took the Tigers to pieces, didn't they? And it was another clinical performance by Leeds, and one we have seen for a number of weeks now from the Rhinos. It's a banana skin. This is for Hull KR. I know the top of the league. I know they're going to win the League Leaders Shield, but the race for the playoffs now is really hotting up, and the teams that are going to be in the mix for the playoffs, it's going to be difficult to call who's going to win. So that's why this game's got so much intrigue for me. There was some great performances by Leeds. Jake Connor again, his kicking game I thought was phenomenal this weekend. He literally could have had it on a piece of string. He was just dropping it into players' hands. His short game kicking, what I thought was incredible. And it's a real test for Hull KR. This is.
Yeah, and Lauchie Miller. You look at the meters made by Lauchie Miller. Was incredible. So I am wondering whether JWH is going to be playing. After the elbow to the face on Tyler Dupree.
method in terms of north-south meters.
Eckersley on Burgess, no doubt at one point in their careers. A young Zach Eckersley would have looked up at Joe Burgess and seen him as a real role model. And now it's like for like. Here's check from the referee.
Well, the referee's called a stop to play because there was a collision with Jared Hargreaves carrying the ball and Tyler Dupree's. He's come out of the tackle awkwardly. Look, he's done this throughout his career, Jared. He carries up with the bumpers, uses the ball as a bumper. Obviously, that's not the game, mate. And maybe he's referee feeling like there's a potential injury here to Tyler Dupree. He's arguing otherwise.
He won't be playing, will he?
Well, I don't know.
He should have gone off for that.
Oh, mate, 100%. I mean, he just cleaned him out. You could see Tyler Dupree was absolute cuckoo land on the floor. And because the onus is on the defending player to kind of, not to strike the head or whatever, just free rein for some players to leave with that arm. And he just caught him in the face. I mean, it was just downright assault on the pitch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So whether he plays or not, we don't know. Not saying that he's everything for Hull KR, because they've certainly got enough, strike to beat every team, like we've said in the past. But he's a big loss. He is a big loss if he's playing. And of course, at this moment in time, we don't know.
I don't think he'll be playing. Not much more to say on it, to be honest. He won't be playing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Right. So we've got to do We've got to do our prediction here, Karl. Who are you going for?
I'm going for Hull KR win, but I do think Leeds have got every chance of winning it as well.
I'm going to go for a Leeds win. One, I'm a Rhinos fan and I want them to beat Hull KR, but also just for a bit of friction between me and you, mate, and give some in the game. But this is a tight game. This is going to go down to a few points. A couple of instrumental plays. I think if Hull KR can nullify Jake Connor and Lauchie Miller, they walk away with this game easy. If they give them free rein to do what they want to do, then I think Leeds can take the win. And I don't think they're going to have enough to control those two players. So that's my prediction. Right, Karl, this is a bit of a strange one because the game that exists that might not exist. It's Leigh Leopards versus Salford. Kicks off apparently at 8 o'clock. Leigh 4 from the last 6 and Salford 1 win from the last 6. So not much more to say about that because obviously Salford didn't play this weekend. Leigh was beat at the weekend. So this is where we're at.
Well, I don't have much to say about Salford most weeks. I've got even less to say about them this week other than watch our set of 6 for a lot more in-depth Salford talk, really. It's a terrible situation, what's going on. We don't know if they're going to play. We don't know what sort of team they're going to field, even if they do play. So, yeah. Should we look at Leigh?
Should we predict whether the game's going to happen or not?
Well, if it happens, Leigh are going to win, aren't they?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the game actually going to be played?
No, I don't think it will be.
I don't think it should.
I think it should.
Right.
But I don't think it will be.
Right. I don't think it should, and I don't think it will be. So, but it'll be really interesting to what you lot think as well. So get in the comments and let us know. And by the way, don't forget to leave Karl a bit of shit about his haircut as well. Moving on then. So also on the Friday night, Saints are taking on Hull FC. Another belter kicks off at 8 o'clock. Saints 5 from 6. The best winning ratio over the last 6 in all the teams in Super League right now. Hull FC 4 from the last 6. Saints with a win over Hull FC 6 weeks ago.
You've got to say that Saints are massive favourites going into this game. However, Hull FC played really well at the weekend. Did you see John Cartwright celebrating as they won? Yeah. Yeah, it was like, it properly meant something to him, doesn't it? That he was living, well, we've seen him, haven't we, up in the stands when he's watching the game. He lives every moment of one of those games.
Yeah, if you had a swear box, you'd be a millionaire by the time, at the end of the game. Like, he does not hold back. But I think he's grown in passion for this team.
I'd agree.
I think he's gone on an incredible journey. I remember him at the Super League launch start of the year, and he was a little bit, I don't know, he's just like, I was sort of thinking, well, I don't really know how invested this bloke is, but you watch him now in games, he's 100% invested.
Yeah.
And I think the fact his son's playing as well, increases that investment in the team. He's a Hull FC. He's Hull FC through and through. It really is, and they're doing some great stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big moves with Hull FC is the fact that Asiata's back in the team, and
or not.
Why is he?
Yeah, he limped off, didn't he?
Oh, I must miss that.
Yeah. So, whether he's going to feature or not, I don't know, but it's definitely concerning.
All right, then let's go on to Zach Ardake, who we spoke about in our Set 6 show. Another man of the match performance in at 6 this week. I think he's playing really well with Cade Cust, actually. So there's a nice little link going on there. Brilliant performance by him. He's just rolling back the years, and he's just helping Hull FC to get stronger and stronger as the weeks are going by.
Yeah, he is, and I've described him in the Set of 6, our new show, that he's very much like the Dennis Waterman of the team. He's kicking the balls, he's running the plays, he's doing the in play kicks, kicking the conversions. He's doing little bits of everything there and not looking out of place. And picking up Player of the Match awards as well. So, phenomenal. Nowhere near Tristan Sailor, though. I don't think he's anywhere near Tristan Sailor.
Well, I read a really interesting interview this week by Paul Whelan. So obviously we've been speaking for the last couple of weeks how well Tristan Sailor's playing. Wellesby's back. Yeah, he played this week, didn't he? He came in off the bench, and we were speaking, weren't we? Where is he going to play Wellesby? Obviously, Wellesby's an out-and-out full-back for Saints. Been one of the best players for Saints for a number of years. But Tristan Sailor's found this position at full-back. Well, not found this position. He's played a number of roles this season, hasn't he? But full-back seems to suit him best. And the last 2 or 3 games, I think he's been the best player on the pitch. What do you do with Wellesby? Do you slot him in at a different position at 6 or something? So it was interesting what Paul Whelan said that Saints have been doing in training, they didn't utilise it this week. He said that in attack, they're looking at playing with 2 fullbacks.
Crikey.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before, have you?
No, and that worries me a little bit, because when they played Giants, I thought Saints were outstanding, but they let in this really soft try, Joe Greenwood, under the posts. And that for me, late in the game, that questions their strength in the centre of the park. Now, if you play with 2 fullbacks... No,
he's on about in attack only, though.
Yeah. Well, they've got to be on the pitch. You know what I mean? And if you've already got a little bit... I'm not saying they have, but it just struck me. I was like, whoa, that was a really easy try late in the game, for Joe Greenwood.
I'm not quite sure what he means by they're going to attack by 2 fullbacks either. So I think Tristan Sailor slotted in at hooker, didn't he, this week when Wellesby came on at fullback. So... how he's going to play with 2 fullbacks, I don't know. Is he going to...
One either side?
Well, I get how it'll work attacking-wise, but where's he finding that extra man from? So is he going to rest Darryl Clark? Somebody's going to slot in at hooker for a moment and let Wellesby and Sailor attack out the back? Maybe that's what he's looking to do.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't read the article, so...
He said they run those lines in training last week. He said, however, they didn't feel it was going to be right for last week's game against Huddersfield.
No, because they'd have played the trump card against a weaker side, wouldn't they? You know what I mean? The other teams. So your Hull FC would have gone. Right, okay, we'll see that. We'll we can see how that's going to unfold. We can defend against that. We can keep an eye out for it. We'll know as soon as those 2 players are on the pitch that there's a potential to run these plays, you know what I mean, a bit to defend it. It obviously didn't need.
Well, they're just still. I don't think it's that bad a call. It's just going to be interesting to see how the dynamics of it actually work. Because obviously, they'll split sides, won't they? You'll have Sailor on the right and Wellesby on the left, and both will attack out the back of the 6. It's interesting, but there's a few moving parts to something like that. If playing 2 attacking fullbacks and then readjusting when it comes to defence and who's slotting in at 9 if he takes Darryl Clark off. So, yeah, really interested to see how that might unfold. Maybe he'll change his mind and he'll just go with a standard setup. But, yeah, it's one we've been talking about for a few weeks.
There's another thing. There's another potential thing here, and you just kind of recycle, but you hang off the shoulder of Darryl Clark and you hang off the shoulder of Tristan Sailor, because Darryl Clark made some incredible breaks this week.
9 runs from dummy half he had this week.
Well, and that's why he's, obviously the opportunities were there for him to make the break. But even when he made the break, he's finding space, throwing dummies, really, really well. And I think if you've got a fullback that's on the shoulder of Darryl Clark, you're going to have some joy there. Similarly, Tristan Sailor is making breaks and cutting through the line. I just challenge anyone to be fast enough to keep up with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he is absolutely rapido, isn't he?
So, they absolutely slashed Huddersfield, didn't they?
Cut them apart.
Just like, but
this is what I was saying. But so to then let this relatively soft try in the middle.
There were 52 points up by that point, so I don't think
switched off.
Yeah, it don't matter, does it? When put that many points on board, it was Huddersfield's biggest loss of the season, and a Huddersfield who. You could let them off for that earlier on in the season when they had a load of injuries. And they've got a fairly full-strength side of Huddersfield at the minute. They absolutely ripped them to pieces. Now, the one thing I will say about Saints, I think they're like now starting to push to be one of the favourites to get into that grand final. And I wouldn't have dreamt of saying that 5 weeks ago.
Karl, I'll tell you, I'll take all my words back. I've been slagging Saints off this year. And the reason being, they've had 2 loop fixtures against Salford, right, where they picked up big wins, and it was almost like they were just getting this easy ride. Right now, when I look at it now, and they put in some terrible performances against other teams, then they started going under the radar, didn't they?
Yeah,
and I thought they're slowly improving and going about the business, and now they are they've got the best win percentage across the competition. And what a place to be in the run up to the playoffs.
Yeah, they're definitely the form team, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to watch them against I can't remember who the last sort of 5 games are against, but this will be a test this week. Hull FC. It's going to be a real good game. This is Hull FC, another team who I think we looked at their back 5 games earlier on, didn't we? I think they've got Saints this week, so then they've got Leeds, KR, Wire and Catalan. So the last 2 you think they can definitely win. They've got a tough game against Hull KR, tough game against Leeds and tough game against Saints. Now, we both predicted last week that Leigh were going to beat them, didn't we? And I thought their performance was brilliant at the weekend. So if they get a win this week, they're in a really good position to keep that 6th spot. We know that Wakefield have got an easier run in, but if they can beat Saints this week, massive for them.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think with Rapana off the pitch, I think with Will Price injured, potentially John Asiata out if he is not nobbled, I don't think they've got enough to beat Saints, who are just on fire at the minute, particularly Tristan Sailor and Karl Felt. I mean, how many freaking points is that lad racking up right now?
He only missed 1 kick, didn't he?
Yeah.
Missed 1 kick all game. So everybody needs a decent. It reminds me of he's like got a kicking ratio of like what Jamie Foster had. Remember Jamie Foster back in the days? He never used to miss. Having a player like that who don't miss the conversions either, it just takes pressure off your team, doesn't it? When it's turning into a 6-point try every game, every score instead of a 4-point try. So getting on to predictions, I think Hull FC are going to put up a spirited performance, but like you say, I think Saints are the informed team at the minute. I think Saints will win.
Right, okay, we've both gone Saints on that one. Moving to the Saturday then, Karl, to the south of France. Catalan Dragons taking on Castleford Tigers. Catalan 0 from the last 6 and Castleford 1 win. The last 6 kicks off at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, so Catalan, much improved performance again this week. Gave Warrington a real good run, didn't they? They were up 16 points to 4 at one point. Went into half time with a convincing lead. So the worrying thing for me with Catalan is that they did give up that convincing lead. Regarding Catalan's attack, though, I saw some good stuff from them this week. Some nice free flowing rugby that it's kind of been missing from them this year. And looking at Tommy Makinson's tries, the guy's still playing his best rugby, and he's one player that will be in that Catalan side next year.
In support, the Warrington line fractured, they need to move it left quickly. Here now is Kiri, kicks out wide for Makinson. Oh, what a finish! What a finish from Tommy Makinson! It was like a goalkeeper, rose to collect it and puts it down. It's a first half hat-trick for Tommy Makinson.
Yeah, I think I've got my notes there from the game last week. Woeful completion rate. And I think, they were playing more expansive rugby and free-flowing rugby, but it did often, end in errors, which they just can't do. But I think if they tighten that up, they can score. They've got absolute weapons there that can score tries, and they've got plenty of size. When you look at it, though, you look at their stats, Mathieu, or however you pronounce it, Laguerre, was pretty much the most prolific player when you look at meters made, carries made, tackles and that kind of thing. And which is a bit of a weird one for me, because I would just expect more from other players on the pitch, if I'm honest. So a couple of bits that Catalan can very easily, or if they can improve those aspects or those things, then they're a class side again. Obviously, they're going up against Cas. There's a reason why these teams have got the worst completion, winning ratio in the absence of Salford, let's say. I don't think it's going to be a particularly interesting game.
No, I don't think Castleford stand a chance. They were absolutely dreadful, weren't they, this weekend? And Chris Chester said, after the game, he said it was a complete embarrassment, and I think he's almost suggested that they might get rid of some players this week. Now, I don't know how that happens when you've got a contract, but there's certainly players who played in that Cas team this week who we probably won't see feature again.
Yeah, it's a little bit like when you've got that kitchen cupboard and you're like, once and for all, we're going to sort this cupboard out, and you rip it all out, don't you? Ditch a load of crap and then reorganise it how you want it.
Yeah,
and
but they've already stripped the team down, haven't they? They've started bringing in new players. So they've already, they looked at how they were performing at the start of the season and gone, right, those lot aren't working.
Well, they went mega PNG heavy, didn't they? Do you remember?
Yeah, well, at the start of the season, yeah. And you've got a question right now, was sacking Danny Maguire the right decision?
Oh, no.
Because they've got worse.
Yeah. It weren't the right decision. Everyone knew it was the wrong decision.
Yeah.
It was just, seemed to be impulse decision. And then the reasons were just crap. You know what I mean? Oh, I inherited this thing, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, yeah, Danny Maguire inherited that team.
Yeah.
So, what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. But, I think it'd be, if it had stayed, I don't think it'd have improved things particularly well. Almost Hull FC from last year, copy that across to Castleford Tigers of this year. You'd need some big changes. But like I said, I just don't think this is going to be a particularly exciting game. I've got it as a Catalan win, purely because Cas were dire last week, and now they're away, and it's a hostile crowd out there.
Castleford missed 54 tackles against Leeds. That's shocking, isn't it? That's just terrible defence. They couldn't defend from kicks. The Leeds just, every time they kicked it over, the wingers didn't look like they knew how to handle it. They weren't competing with the ball. The full-back were out of position when they were doing short kicks into the in-goal area. I don't think Castleford, I know they're only playing Catalan, but I don't think they stand a chance. There needs to be a massive shake-up at Castleford. I think Catalan win for me.
Right, moving on to the Sunday. We've got two games this Sunday. We've got Huddersfield Giants and Warrington kicking off at 3 o'clock. Huddersfield currently 3 wins from the last 6. Warrington also 3 from the last 6. In fact, all teams playing on Sunday are 3 from the last 6. That middle of the road, picked up a couple of wins, had a couple of losses, everything to play for. So what are you saying about this game?
Well, this is the nothing to play for game, isn't it, really? Maybe Warrington are still in with a chance, aren't they, of making the 6. It's looking unlikely, but they've still got to keep competing. They've got to do better than they did against Catalan, though, against a Giants team. Should we go on to Huddersfield first? So 52 points conceded against St Helens, the most points they've conceded all season. I said this 5-10 minutes ago, but even at the start of the season when they were playing dreadful, they weren't playing like that. So I don't know what happened with Huddersfield in the last 2 weeks, because they put on a decent performance, didn't they, a couple of weeks ago, to then getting absolutely ripped apart by Saints. I think it all stemmed from the sin bin. So the Tarnay Mill got sin bin, didn't they, on about 18 minutes into the game, and it was fairly close at that point. It was only like 6-0. He went off for a sin bin, and that rate, the floodgates just opened, and then they never recovered.
Yeah, I think Tristan Sailor started cutting the team apart, and like you said, the rest is history. Other players started following, just flooding through. Another
team that just couldn't tackle at the weekend, 49 missed tackles. Those are like double the numbers you'd expect from missed tackles. The teams in the top 6 miss around somewhere between 20 to 30 tackles a game. When you're starting to get like 50 missed tackles a game, you got no chance, have you? Clearly, your one-on-one defending just isn't good enough. So yeah, Warrington, they're in with a good chance this weekend.
Yeah, I say good chance. I would expect Warrington to win. I don't think we need to labour this game any longer than we are.
But not necessarily, because if you get the Huddersfield that turned up the week before, and George Flanagan's ripping it up, then I can easily see that it goes the other way as well.
Well, and it works the other way as well, because if the Warrington of a couple of weeks back turns up, you know what I mean, then Huddersfield take the win. But I think...
But Warrington weren't great against Catalan, were they? It was a complete game of two halves. Like, the Warrington crowd were booing Warrington at half-time when they walked off the field. Or some Warrington fans were, should I say. If you looked on social media, they were going absolutely mad. And then they turned it around in the second half. So they had... I suppose it just painted a picture of Warrington's season. They're just up and down, aren't they? There's no consistency in that team at all, and I don't really know why. So yeah, they had a dreadful first half. Looked like Catalan were going to absolutely spank them, and then I suppose what you could say is in the second half they found some. What would you say?
Just direction, I think. If they found some direction, they found a way to kind of have a bit of cohesion in the team, and then obviously they broke the opposition down, but I think they're almost letting more than actually, performed exceptionally well. So, they need to start the way they finished last game.
The good news is they've got the Hewlett brothers who are having a real good end to this season. They look really dangerous, both of them at the minute. And, that's a real positive for Warrington. The young lads are playing well.
Here's Mattison, gets it away now. Ball out the back, chance now. Williams short, Ratchford, great pass, Hewlett! Oh, did he get it down? If he did, this is a sensational finish. He was nearly sat in the stand when he got that down. But did he ground it correctly? Tom Grant says he did.
Okay, the on-field decision is try on field, so we're looking to see, does he maintain possession of the ball? We can see he's in possession at this point. Still in possession. His hand always remains on the ball at that point. Hand always remains on the ball. So we'll just go to camera 1 to confirm that. I'm happy with the feet. Yeah, thank you. So the hand always maintains on the ball there. Keep rocking and rolling it.
Well, this is going to be one of the truly great flying finishes. Jake Hewlett somehow has defied gravity, the laws of physics, and you name it, to get that down. What a score. We've got a level game.
What a score. What a freak.
It's going to be a tough one to call this. It's at Huddersfield.
Yeah, I've got it as a Warrington win.
Have you?
Yeah. I think Warrington are going to win this. I think Warrington will see this. You're right. They are still mathematically within, the regions of getting into the top 6. So every point, and this is an earmarked game that they'll build for and go, right, okay, if we don't win this, we've literally shit it this year. So...
Well, yeah, it's 100% if they don't win it, that is season over.
Done, yeah.
Because Warrington played well at the end of the game, certainly in the second, they had a decent second half. I think they'll be terrible again this weekend.
Oh, God,
I think Huddersfield will win.
Yeah,
because that's how they play. They've been like that all season.
Yeah.
They can't string any consistency together. And I think if Huddersfield they were playing a red hot Saints side. I'm going to brush that one aside and pretend it didn't happen. I'm going to look at their performance the week before. I think if they play like they did the week before against Warrington, I think they might win. So I'm going to go Huddersfield win.
Right, we're split on that one. Nice one. Right, okay, another belting game. We've got Wigan sitting in second place, taking on Wakefield. Kicks off at 3 o'clock as well. These teams both 3 from the last 6. It's at The Brick. A weird name, that, isn't it, for a stadium? The Brick.
It's not as bad as the Totally Wicked Stadium.
No, Totally Wicked is it's terrible. Totally terrible.
Totally terrible stadium there.
So, so what we said about this?
Wigan were terrible, weren't they? They weren't. No, they weren't. Were they? They weren't. You could have easily seen with that performance that Wigan put in that they could have got absolutely spanked.
Yeah, they were fortunate. They were definitely fortunate. Way too many errors, silly mistakes.
12 errors. And
obviously
they were
rattled.
They were just like proper basic, like throwing the ball to nobody and like really basic knock-ons, weren't they? Like just not controlling the ball and play the ball and stuff like that. Look, I don't want to take away from that game on Friday night because it was really exciting. It was great to watch. The crowd was so invested in it. There was belting each other, weren't there, from minute one. It was really high intensity. But if you actually deep dive into the quality of the performance that Wigan put in, it wasn't a good performance, I don't think.
Do you think you introduce Nsemba and French and the whole team changes?
And Thompson.
Oh, and Thompson as well, yeah.
Three big name players there. Yeah, I do. And I think Wigan play off Bevan French quite a lot. If he's having a good game, you get a different... And Harry Smith needs Bevan French back on that field.
Yeah, so the Sky pundit, Sky team talked about this quite a bit after the game, didn't they? And they were sort of saying that Harry Smith looked lost without Bevan French. So,
we've been saying that for weeks, haven't we? I completely agree.
But he's been in the 21-man squad, hasn't he, for the last 2 weeks? You called it as mind games last week, but maybe he features this week.
I think he will. Surely if he's been at 21-man squad for the last 2 weeks, he's got to be close to getting back on the pitch, hasn't he? 78% completion rate from Wigan, which isn't dreadful, but it's not enough to be winning against...
You've got to be in the 90s, high 90s.
Yeah, it's not enough to be winning like the big games, the big close games. And like I say, Hull KR, I think, they deserved the win and they were the better team, but with how Wigan played, they should have blown them away, really. Mind you, Hull KR made errors all over the place as well. Going up against Trinity, right. Bit of a dynamic here because they've had a week off. So has that laid them in good stead? Is it a bad thing that they're out of practice? What do you reckon?
I don't think they're out of practice. I think they're well rested. And I think that's what they need to be in order to play for the top, let's say the top 2 sides. Probably the top 4 or 5 sides, they need to be well rested. You know what I mean? They've squeezed 2, 3, maybe 4 training sessions in that time off. Although they had to go through the process of preparing for a game, didn't they, initially?
Yeah.
Before it was called off. So, I think they know Wigan well. There's a couple of unknowns, like we say. You'd expect Nsemba to be back, so you've got to be able to account for him. French, we don't know at this moment in time, but other than that, they kind of know what they're getting with Wigan, so they've been able to prepare for that.
Yeah, but you look at Wakefield's last game 2 weeks ago, and they got absolutely spanked by Saints, didn't they? 34 points to 4. They were never in the game, really. And one we didn't see coming because Wakefield had been on a good run this year, and we really thought they were going to trouble Saints, didn't we? We thought it'd be a really tough, close game, and I was shocked. I'll be honest, I was shocked by how much of a divide there was between Saints and Wakefield.
But I'm not sure we're giving Saints credit for what they're doing. Here's an interesting question, Karl. If Saints play Wigan this weekend, who wins?
Saints.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And therefore that is
an indicator of
like one where the other teams are. Like Wakey got blown away. You prepare for a side that's not really performed, and they turn up as like a world class, side and blow you away. They take you by surprise. And that's what Saints have done for a couple of teams now. I think other teams are starting to switch on to it. I think Hull FC will be well aware of their capabilities this weekend, but I think Wakey got caught out. And
they might have got caught out, but they didn't really break the Saints line. I mean, I know we're talking about Wakefield and we keep going on about Saints, but Wakefield struggled to break the line against St Helens, and there were very few tackle busts in that game. Going up against Wigan, I mean, I think Wigan still have a solid defence, don't they? I mean, I've gone on about saying that Wigan haven't played that well, but they still don't leak many points. So I think it could be still going to be a difficult afternoon for Trinity, and a game with loads of intrigue. This is.
Yeah, it is. But also, I think, I mean, I said last week that I don't think Wigan would mind a loss. I genuinely thought that because I think Ulker have got the league leader shield, and now it's, you're already starting to say, I don't know if Ulker are going to win the grand final. You know what I mean? And this is I think Matt Pete, as shrewd as he is, would be like, I'll take a loss. I'll take a steady run into the playoffs.
Before I make too many predictions, I want to see Wigan back with a full strength side, because I think they've certainly since Bevan French has been missing, they haven't been the same team. They haven't been as strong this year as they were last year, but I still just think with a full strength side back on the pitch that they're going to be a different animal. Call it then. Difficult one, this, isn't it?
Yeah. Head and heart. I've got head and heart here. Head, I'm sort of saying Wigan win. Heart saying Wakey take the win. So it's like almost a toss of a coin for me.
I'm going Wigan.
And right.
I've interrupted you, but I'm going Wigan.
Right. I think if Bevan French is back, Wigan. So that's my prediction.
Right.
Because I think he'll be back this week.
I think he'll be back.
I think
if he's not back?
If he's not back, I think Wakey can take the win.
Right.
So
interesting.
Yeah. And I say Wakey take the win. I think Wakey will play incredibly well. They'll see an opportunity, that player missing, and I think Wigan will continue the form they were in last week, where they're making too many errors and almost gift the game, or not gift the game to Wakey, because by God they'll have to earn it. But I think it'll just be a little bit of an easier job. Such is the impact that Bevan French has when he's on the pitch. So that's it, Karl. Right, that's it then. That's all our predictions. We'll wait and see what's happening with Salford this week. Karl, what's coming up on the channel this week?
Set 6 is really in depth. We had a massive viewers mailbag where we've been answering all your questions, and there's loads of stuff that we got through, including a few bit radical ones, really, weren't there? So check out our Set 6 show. There's loads of news on there. We talk about the Salford situation in depth. We look at England players who we think should be pushing into that England squad now. That's on the channel, along with the Clint Goodchild interview that we dropped last Friday.
Yeah, and in the run-up to the playoffs and the grand final, we are looking at potentially holding a couple of meetups at different times, places, what have you. If you think that's a good idea, I'm going to pin a comment down below, then please like it to let us know if you think it's a good idea or not, and you'd be interested in that, or don't, and we'll continue to not have any mates or out. So, till next week, take care.